Hey guys, welcome back. I have another small project to do on the Lamborghini. I've noticed a while back that my switches were getting kind of sticky, or the area around them. So I was going to go ahead and remove those today and see if I can get them kind of cleaned up and then reinstall. It's not like a big job or anything, but it's something I can do here without sending the part out to get refabbed or anything. So we'll try to see if we can get this thing out and done. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove those switches there. And they should just slide right out according to the manual. So we'll see if I can do that. Alright, so I'm going to take one of these tools here I have in my hand and see if I can get something pried underneath this panel, because this panel should just slide right out. But I don't want to ruin the finish on anything, so I'm going to be pretty careful with what I'm doing here. But to see if I can get this stuff pried out here without damaging anything. So I was going to remove the radio, but I'm waiting for the tools to remove the radio. But I'm going to see if I can do it without it. There's 4 clips that go in the radio, and then that will allow that to slide out. I'll show you when I get the tool, but it's going to be a few more days. I'd ordered it online, and they haven't come yet. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm going to try, like I said, use this tool to pry this out, and I'll let you know. Like I said, I'm going to have to put the phone down, and use my hands. So it does just slide out. It's not, it's just like a friction fit. Like I said, I've got the tools underneath the edges there. Like I said earlier, I kind of pried on both sides and from behind here. And I kind of like tugged on here at the same time. You need to pull it straight out. You can't get it cocked, because if you start getting it cocked one direction or another, it's going to want to dig into the upholstery here. So you have to pull it straight out. And you can see here, like the stickiness, this is starting to get sticky here. And we should be able to take this finish off. Now these should slide right off. I've taken a few of these silver things off. They should slide right back on, but just be careful with it. I'm going to pull this completely out here. And then there's a connector on the back, which I'm going to disconnect here. Looks like there's a safety on there. We'll have to pop that safety off there. And we'll have to push this down in this back. Like I said, I can't hardly do this with one hand. So you should be able to just push the center while pushing the center down. Pull the pink piece, rotate it up, and then that should release that one connector. Now I know in the earlier models there's 2 connectors. On the pre-LPs it's a little bit different, but the panel slides in and out of the same way. So let me disconnect that, and we should have the panel out. I've got the connector loose. Like I said, just a single connector on the LPs. The pre-LPs have 2 connectors. So we've got the panel out here, as you can see. And then you can see like here where it's starting to get a little sticky along here. So we're going to go ahead and take this out and put it on the bench and disassemble this so I can like wipe this down. All right, so we've got this out here, and I'm going to disassemble as much of this apart as I can. It looks like there's 3 screws here that I'm going to take apart and see if I can get more of this apart. I'm not sure yet if I need to do that or what. Like I said, I know some of these will slide off. If I can get those slid off and maybe these buttons slid off, maybe I'll keep from taking this thing apart, because I really don't need to go to that depth if I don't have to. So let's see what happens here. All right, I think I've got a better view here now. I'm going to try to pull these off. I had a few of these off the other day. They should just come right straight off like that. Just be careful not to bust these little ears off. over here. And those should be all the same. Okay. Those are on there. If I get those out or not. Oh, I got ones that came off. Let's see if I can get this last one. And there's a little stickier. So those just pull straight off. Those lined up here. All right. All right. There we are. Okay, those just slide straight off. All right, so now I've got pretty much all this stuff exposed. So all right, hopefully I didn't break anything there. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take some fingernail polish, and I'm going to fingernail polish remover and remove the stickiness here. You can use some alcohol too. These will not rub off because they are backlit, so I know that they're etched into the plastic. Some of the labeling you have to watch on some of the cars and some of the items. They're just printed on the surface, so if you use this method that I'm going to use, you'll wipe them off. But those should be etched into the plastic. All right? So I've got some fingernail polish here. It's just a generic brand, Equate, non-acetone. So we'll use this on there, and it's nail polish remover. All right? We'll take some of this. Put this on a towel and just kind of wipe this panel down. It'll really get black and kind of nasty when you're doing this. All right. Because it's going to want to take that finish off. Normally, I know on the Ferrari stuff it does. We'll see what happens here. I might just be screwing this up, but I've done this a lot of the Ferrari stuff. We'll see if maybe the alcohol will hit this a little bit better. We'll try some alcohol on this, all right? All right, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to disassemble this because I think it still will be easier because I don't want to get any of the fluid down in these switches. I don't want to damage those. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 3 screws out of the back here and see what that looks like. I got the 3 screws out. See if this back pulls, hopefully it comes right off. Oh, be careful with that. All right, try not to bust that. Because this is where all your switches and everything are at. Solder the board. And don't touch the board All right, so we're going to lay that over there. All right, so then let's see if this comes out of here. There's your lighting. It's part of your lighting in that. So it goes in there just one way, it looks like. All right, so we'll put that over here. We'll lay that over that. And then your switches are just all in here, as you can see here. It doesn't look like they're like little brackets here. So I don't know what to do with that actually. I don't want to bust them. Now it looks like you could take them out, but there's like little ears in there that you might be able to get a screwdriver in there and spread out. But you may damage that, and once they're damaged, I don't know if you can get this piece again here, so that could be a bad thing. Yeah. Well, I may not go any further with that. Like I said, clean it this way. At least I know if I spill any fluid in the inside, the electronics are safe. So I'm going to try to continue with this fingernail polish and alcohol. All right? All right, so I've got the top clean here. It's not tacky anymore. It kind of comes off clear. And I like the Ferrari stuff. It's on what they use on the Ferraris and stuff. It'll come off black. But as you can see, it's not sticky anymore. So it's going to take a little bit of elbow grease to get some of this stuff off. Just got to keep on working it back and forth. Don't use anything to scrape it. Just use your towel and just work it back and forth. You'll have to rub it a bunch of times, but it will come off. You can see right here I have it off too on the side here. It's coming off. So you're just going to have to take time to work it back and forth. You can see it's kind of loosened up here. All right. But yeah, you're just going to have to take your time and work that back and forth. But be careful with your fluid that you're using. Like I said, it's kind of bunching up here. You can see it's kind of getting a little sticky, but yeah, you're just going to have to work it back and forth like this. It's going to be a little time consuming. It's not going to be quick and easy, but it is working. So you may go through a lot of rags and that to get this clean, but anyway, I'm going to turn the camera off here and I'm going to work at this a little bit more and show you a little bit more of the progress later, because I'm sure you don't want to watch me rub on this thing for a while. All right, I have decided to take these buttons out of here. Okay, it's not too difficult, but just got to be careful. There's like these little ears here, as you can see on the sides. You got to take a little screwdriver like this. Don't pry too hard on it. You can just pry the one side, just to give it a little bit of a pry. Don't force it, because you don't want to pry it too much. And they should just pop out of there. So. There. So it came out. And just remember the orientation of this, all right? So those are out, and just kind of do the same thing further down. So hopefully it won't be too difficult to get back together. We'll figure out that, I guess, here in a minute. There's another one. like I said, don't pry on it. If you break these ears off, you're kind of screwed, so be gentle. So you kind of want to push on this too. You kind of want to push on it, kind of force it out while you're doing this to kind of help it. There. Got my last one here, okay? These end ones are a little bit different, but same principle. There you are. All right. So I have them all laid out over there. So now you can see this thing here is there's nothing attached to this bezel. So now I have, I can clean through here pretty much effortlessly. Like I said, this is not sticky anymore here, but I still got like some stickiness on the sides here, and then all this. So like I said, it's just easier with the switches out of there. All right. All right. You may grab a Q-tip here also to kind of help with this, so you can get like down in here in these corners, these crevices and that. That'll help in there. You can kind of go back and forth with the Q-tip. It makes it a little easier in these tight areas. So just kind of a hint there. But like I said, it's going to take a little while to go back and forth in this. This stuff's it's kind of stubborn. But you can see it start breaking down the more you scrub. Like I said, just don't use anything like a razor blade or anything, because you'll scratch it. So you got to be gentle. Like I said, it is time consuming. So you can see the bits right there. It's coming off, but it's just going to take time. So I'm going to go ahead, shut the camera off, and I'm going to continue to work on this. Like I said, I don't want to bore you here with all this. All right, so I'm done cleaning this up. Didn't turn out too bad. The only thing I did notice, I did get some of the white out of the ESC. So I guess I could probably try to touch that up. Depends on how good I am. Now at this point, you can leave it as is, or you can probably respray this clear over this. I think they do make a clear that you can spray on this if you would like, but make sure it's compatible with plastic. You don't want to spray something on here that's going to have a reaction to it. So I don't know of anything that offhand that I would recommend. I do have a customer of mine that has a Ferrari. He did his buttons a while back also, and I think he sprayed a clear over it. So they may make a clear specifically for these. I think that's what was on there originally, was this clear, and it just goes bad after a while. But anyway, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, I could probably wipe on a little bit more, but also I noticed like you don't want to get too aggressive in here, in these areas here, because you will take the black paint off. So just kind of keep that in mind if you are doing this, if you decide to do this. But it's a lot better. It's not sticky anymore. I mean, it's still sticky here. I'm not worried about that. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just worried about the front here. So I'm pretty satisfied with it. I'm going to go ahead and stick the Like I said, buttons back in it, the chrome pieces, and it'll look pretty nice once it's all completed. Now what I need to do is probably need to start putting this back together. Like I said, unless you're going to paint this with a clear, or you'd paint it at this point, I'm going to try it like this for right now. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn this over and then start reinstalling these buttons here again. Keep in mind the way they came out and then the way they go in. All right. My glasses on here. A little screwdriver. And then nope, I would not force them in there. They should just maybe pop. Yep, see it? Popped right in there. Well, not quite. Take this. There's a little ear here. Pry this back a little bit. Like I said, be careful not to break these. Like I said, if you break them, now it's in there. Okay, so you can see it hinging in there. There's like a little hinge point right here. You can see it's back into position. All right, so we're going to take our next button and do the same thing. Okay, just kind of throw it in there. It's back in there already. They actually go in pretty easy. They're actually harder to get back out. There it is. That one's in. That one's in. As you can see, they all look nice lined up. There they are in the front. Like I said, just remember how they came out. And that one's in. That one's in. These end ones look like they're a little bit more difficult to get in there, but you can see these little holes right here and here, and they line up with these pins here. There's a pin here and here. So I just gotta kind of push them to the side a little bit. They said like the smaller ones on the ends are a little bit more difficult to get in there. And I believe it's back in also. So all these should line up. If it's incorrectly, all these little ears here should line up. Okay, which they do. All right, and then you'll flip it over. These all should move pretty freely. Really doesn't matter how you put this back together. I mean, you could put these back on next. They kind of snap in there. I don't know if I'm going to glue them or not. I can hear them click in. You could probably put a little bit of glue on it if you want to, but if you ever wanted to take this apart again, it may be difficult if you put glue on it. So I'm just going to push them on there. And hopefully they don't fall out. You can they kind of snap into place. All right, that looks good. I mean, look how good that looks. And then these, just gonna remember how they came apart. a little slot there that they can get into position. There it is. There they are, look at that. Okay, then this goes in here next. So I'm assuming this goes like this. Now I think those little ears slide into these plastic pieces. Those little black ears here slide in these little pieces. So be careful when you're putting this back together. Up. So that looks like that captured. They all kind of snapped in. See that? Yeah. So it's going to sit here like this. It's going to... I'm going to have to, like, some of these buttons aren't... I'm going to have to pop that thing back out and see what's going on, because I don't know if they're all engaged correctly. All right? All right, so when you're putting this inner piece in here, your buttons on the front have to be all lined up, all right? And you're going to have to go by your end buttons. So there's like a little slot where it captures the other piece. Make sure those line up, okay, on both ends. That's the only place you can see them. There's like a, I don't know if you can see it in there. There's like a white piece, and then in the center there's like a black piece that's on the button itself. Make sure those are centered in the hole here. I don't know if I can show you here. Right here. Same thing on this side. And then all your buttons have to be centered with that button to get them to engage all those other buttons. All right? So if you don't get those lined up correctly, it won't work. So just a note. And then it should kind of snap into place. And then just kind of like hold that from the back. And then your window switches are going to go both ways. Some of these buttons only move in one direction, like the lights, hazard, okay, the gas, but the window switches should go both ways, all right? So those are working. So now we're going to go ahead and put the circuit board back in here, all right? Kind of like that, I believe, because these should line up with these little buttons on here, okay? So drop this in like that. All right, and then we'll install the 3 screws. Maybe. It's not in there crooked. Don't over tighten these because it's fragile. Just snug them up. All right. Like I said, just get it to where it's snug. Don't over tighten. All right, so that's what it looks like now. I mean, not too bad. Like I say, the E, I mean, I could probably touch that up. Depends on how good my hand, how steady my hand is. Other than that, it's not sticky anymore. Looks really good. Like I said, don't be too aggressive with the stuff that you're using to remove, because you can remove this black paint and obviously the white. But for the most part, it turned out pretty good. Like I said, it's not sticky anymore. So what we're going to do now is we're going to reinstall this, hook this connector back up, reinstall it, and make sure everything works. All right. So let's go ahead and get this installed. Alright, so goes that way, and I'm going to hook the connector in there. I have to put the phone down. Connector's in there. Like, as you put the blue connector in there, push the pink piece over, and it should kind of draw it in there, and then you'll hear it snap. Alright, and then we'll just kind of like take this, kind of sit it up here like that. Alright, and it should just push right in there, right? Just like that. Alright, she's installed. Not looking too bad, is it? Actually looks pretty good. Like I said, if it wasn't for the E, it would be perfect. Alright, now we just got to test all our buttons and make sure well, you know the hazard works. Let's shut the door here. Okay, the headlights work. There's the headlights are on. We'll have to get that on. We'll try the fuel door. That worked, so we're good there. Let's start the car and make sure this all works. All right, so we did the fuel door. Window. There, the window works. Okay. ESC off. That works. We know the hazard works. We know the lights work. And then turn that off. I don't know if this button actually works or not. I'll have to figure that out. I think some models that's not active. But I'll have to check that out. So then the other window, push up, down, forward is down, back is up, yes. And then I'll turn the lights on. You can see they all light up. Like I said, that's kind of annoying. I'm going to have to do something with that. But other than that, everything seems to be working normal. So anyway, if you like this video, please subscribe, like it. Please, thanks for watching. But anyway, we'll catch you next time. And like I said, if you got any questions, let me know. And I'll see you then.